Hello everyone, what's up? So, we were kind of busy today, and we really needed to get this podcast, our Fitscience podcast, short today because we were kind of running behind schedule. So we decided to, shoot the podcast on the go. Hopefully, it's not as bad as the idea sounds, but yeah, let's just see how it goes. We got a lot of questions that actually pointed to one single question, and we were kind of thinking that we would address the same in this podcast. Again, I'm not going to read out all the questions. I'm just combining all the questions and putting it in one question, and that question is, Siddhant, please do the honors of reading the question.
Yeah, the question is, how does lifting close to failure cause hypertrophy?
Okay, so you have no idea what this is, right?
Nope.
Okay, so lifting close to failure, this means there is a concept called 1 rep max. That means when you go into the gym to test your strength or to test your power, mainly strength, what you do is you check how much weight you can lift. So generally what happens is when you go to a gym, you generally start with the lowest weights and try to build up your strength, going higher in the weights and see how you perform. And if you're performing good or satisfactory, then you change the weight and go to the next weight in the next set. And that's how you generally design your sessions as well. If you're aiming for strength, that's how you basically categorize your sessions as to strength sessions, hypertrophy sessions. Now, strength and hypertrophy, do they go hand in hand? To a certain extent, yes. I would suggest, research has shown higher weights or lifting heavy weights is kind of a stimulus for hypertrophy. Now, what is hypertrophy? Hypertrophy is basically muscle growth.
Oh.
Okay, so this GoPro has gone down. GoPro down. Basically, what has happened is, what is hypertrophy? You want to know what is hypertrophy? Hypertrophy is basically muscle growth. Okay, yeah. So basically, what happens is lifting heavier weights does stimulate hypertrophy or muscle growth, but do you have to go there every time? That's what the basic question is. Do you have to go till the failure? Now, what is failure? Failure means, for example, I'll tell you, if you're doing probably a bench press, okay, or a squat, you go till the extent where you cannot do any more reps with that particular weight, okay, and that's where your strength is tested. So let's just say that I go into the gym today, I'm doing squats, okay, I start with 40 kg, going into 50 kg, going into 60 kg, going into 70 kg. Now, the concept that I was talking about, the 1 rep max concept, that means that doesn't mean you can do 1 rep with that maximum 1 rep. You can do 1 rep with that particular weight. It doesn't mean that. Generally, what happens is people go and try to aim for 1 rep max, but that's not how it is. It is basically checking if you can do 2 reps with that particular weight, and if you go and do 2 reps, that's not your 1 rep max. If you go and attempt the second rep, you do the first rep, okay, fine, with good form, with good posture, everything right, okay, and you cannot do the second rep,
Okay.
that means that's your 1 rep max. So for example, if I go and do, if today's I have a squat session, I go and start with 40, go to 70, 80, 90, okay. Now on 90 kg, I do 5 reps, okay. On then I go ahead and put, okay, let's just go 92 and a half or 95. When I go 95 and say, okay, now let's just try. I think this is my 1 rep max, but I could do 3 reps, so that is definitely not my 1 rep max. Then I go 100. Okay, then on 100, if I can do 2 reps, that's also not my 1 rep max. Okay, but on 105, if I go down, come up with a good posture, okay, struggling with a good posture, okay, without bending my back, without bending in front, without lifting my heels up, without everything, all the parameters of doing a good proper squat in right posture. Okay, so if I attempt the first one rightly, correctly, and I cannot attempt the second one rightly, correctly in the proper form, I cannot go down, I cannot come up the way a proper squat is supposed to be, then that is my 1 rep max. So ideally my 1 rep max would be 105 for that day. Okay, and then all my hypertrophy sessions or strength sessions or endurance sessions will be based or will be calculated according to that particular 1 rep max that I got that day. I can keep checking 1 rep max. I could check my 1 rep max every month if I want. Okay, I could check it once in 6 months if I want. That is not the point. The point here is why generally we do or I do 1 rep maxes is to calculate the capacity of that particular person or me, and then I can go ahead and check if my strength is increased, decreased, what has happened with my strength, and also plan my sessions or plan my training according to based on that 1 rep max. So that weight is going to be the basis. So if today I don't want to do a heavy workout, if I want to go lighter on my workout, but I still want to stimulate that growth, stimulate the hypertrophy, then I would probably go somewhere around 75 to 85% of my 1 rep max. Basically what people do is people confuse heavy weights with hypertrophy. So what generally happens is I see a lot of people going and attempting 1 rep maxes or high weight low reps almost every session, which is not right. So every leg session you cannot keep on pounding that quad muscle or that hamstring muscle or your glutes. You cannot keep pounding them one after the other every session, every week, by doing heavy weights and expect them to grow. Getting? So hypertrophy, that's not how hypertrophy works. Hypertrophy also needs rest. Now there is something called German volume training. I don't know how many people know about this, but German volume training is they generally calculate your sessions, like your work done is calculated in sessions given. So how many sessions you're doing in a week or in a month or on a weekly basis. So if you do a good if you do a good heavyweight session, you will need to give your body a good amount of rest, because you have tested your body, you have tested your muscles, you have put them through strenuous work in that particular session, and now they need rest. If they don't recover properly, they're not going to you're not able to push them as much as you want to in the next session if they're not recovered completely. Okay, so recovery plays a huge role in hypertrophy. Hypertrophy means growth, muscle growth. Okay, so now you have to make sure that your diet is right. Okay, your diet gives enough nutrition for your muscles, that is needed for your muscles to recover, to replenish those glycogen stores, to replenish those protein stores which you have utilized in your workout. Okay, now if that is not happening, then again you're going to have a problem in your next workout session. Also, it's not just diet, it's also your sleep, it's also your mental state. Like if you are constantly under stress, or if you're constantly under pressure, let it be work pressure, let it be traveling, let it be just workout pressure. You know, your body goes under a lot of pressure when you're working out heavy all the time. And also your sleep. If you're not able to sleep properly for at least, let's just say 8 to 9 hours, 8.5 to 9 hours, that also screws up with your body. So you have to give it complete rest to recover completely, so that it helps you push yourself in the next workout session. Getting? Are you understanding what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So generally this is what happens. People don't give enough rest. People don't give enough good nutrition that is needed for your body. But people want to go in and do that 1 rep max all the time. Or people want to go above 100. आज 110 से हम लोग आज squat मारेंगे. So this is a great concept to test. Okay. But you cannot keep going weeks after weeks after weeks with the same, with the same mindset in the gym, and you cannot keep continuing the same performance in the gym, because it is going to take a toll on your body, and if there is no rest, there is no hypertrophy. It's just as simple as that. Okay. Now another aspect of this is there are a lot of variables that come into play when you are actually talking about hypertrophy. Variables as in variables in your exercise. Now it's not just like a very simple example would be like there is high weight, less repetitions. Like if we take more weight, you do less repetitions of that particular weight, or you take less weight and do more repetitions of the particular weight. That also stimulates growth. That also stimulates hypertrophy. But your workout plan has to be designed in a certain way, in a particular way where your body responds to that plan. Getting? So you cannot just put you cannot just keep putting heavy weight, less reps workouts week after week. So that only, like you cannot do this. You cannot even keep less weight, more repetitions every week and expect your muscles to grow. No, it needs the right amount of combination of these two and a lot of other variables that come into play. These two are just an example. But yeah, changing variables definitely will help you in a long run for as far as muscle growth is considered. So what generally happens is people just focus on heavy weight, less reps, and think that this is going to get me to where I want this size, I want my muscle to grow these many inches. There are a lot of goals that people have related to, as we discussed in earlier podcasts also, there are a lot of body goals that come into play. But then what happens is people don't think about other variables. By other variables, I mean there are so many other variables that people don't know about. People, you need to research, you need to read about them, you need to focus on different aspects of your training, different aspects of your diet, different aspects of your rest. And you cannot just, like, even as a trainer, I cannot tell you, even if I'm working with you for 1 month, I cannot tell you, oh, this will work best for you, or this is how you should do it. No, everybody needs to try and keep experimenting with their schedule, with their pattern. Let it be workout pattern, let it be eating pattern, let it be diet, everything. So sleeping pattern. So what happens? What happens basically is you have to make sure that you are you know your body better than anybody else. Like anybody suggesting you that you do this, you do that, it might work for you, it might not. But what you experience through your body, the way you log in, how effective today's workout was, how did you feel after your workout, how did you feel after a week of following a certain diet, or how did you feel after a week of sleeping in a particular way, or sleeping at a particular time and waking up at this particular time, whatever. You have to make sure that you try to be independent and track all these things by yourself. See, as long as somebody else is telling you and you're doing it, it's fine. That's always going to be mechanical, and you will follow it to a certain you will follow it to a certain extent. But what after that? Once your association with that person ends, what after that? Nobody's going to come and motivate you to do stuff that is good for you. Getting? It's ultimately it's you who has to take up the responsibility and then work towards your goals. So all these factors come into play when you're talking about health per se, and when you're talking about making things better for you. So yeah, I think it's very, very important. There was another research that I was reading. So there are basically a lot of factors that come into play. So there are different kinds of failures also. There will be concentric failures, there will be eccentric failures, there will be isometric failures. So all these factors also come into play when you're talking about failures. Now there's something called absolute failure also. Absolute failure means this is it. I cannot do anything else in this particular session and I am going home. That's it. So that's absolute failure. So what happens is the more you lift the weight, the more you change these variables, the more motor unit recruitment happens. Now what is a motor unit recruitment? Okay, so what happens is, to tell you in a very basic language, what happens is your brain sends signals to your hands when they are lifting a particular weight. Now for example, if I have to lift this cup of coffee, okay, now my brain tells my right hand that okay, the cup of coffee is here. As soon as I touch it, my brain kind of understands, okay, it is this amount of weight, and for that amount of weight these amount of motor units are required. Getting? So that amount of motor requires are sent to my hand, and my hand picks up the coffee and work is done. Okay, more like the heavier the cup of coffee, more motor units are sent so that they can lift that amount of weight. So motor units, more weight you pick up, more motor units will be recruited to go and do the work. Okay. After a certain point of time, what happens is that to perform, once you keep doing this, recruiting more motor units, the more you do this, the more metabolic stress you are causing. Hearing? Yeah, metabolic stress. So when you're training to failure, your cells, there are cells in your body.
I know that. Okay.
Thank you.
I've done 10th standard.
Okay, so the cells swell, like sustate, they swell. Okay, now the swelling, of course, anything that swells is not really good for your body, because generally you swell when your body gets attacked. Okay, and the swell is always going to be unwanted to your body. So then what? So this is something like a metabolite accumulation. So what happens is, basically what happens is, this metabolic stress that we are talking about, research indicates that this type of metabolic accumulations, all these motor units that are released or recruited to do that particular work, what happens is the cell swells. So when the cell is swelling, that accumulates in one particular. For example, if you bang your head somewhere, you're going to get a bump here. So that is accumulation of that swollen area. Okay. The release of this anabolic hormones has the potential to increase your muscle growth, basically. Getting? And to enhance your muscle adaptations. Okay, so yeah, that's what is hypertrophy basically. So that's why people go and try to lift weight as much as possible. Now in 2016, what happened is they did a meta analysis, okay, of this thing. They assessed the results that were available for them, and the research showed that training to failure is not necessary for muscular hypertrophy. Okay, so what basically happened is the evidence indicated that non-failure training is much more beneficial. Non-failure means not reaching that failure phase or trying to do that much more weight. That is not going to cause you that's not going to give you so many advantages. Okay, so basically you don't need to train that hard or go that heavy in your workouts frequently. Okay, you can do it, but rarely. I would suggest that you get a plan for yourself that complements your requirement. Okay, you have to make sure that you study it enough. You have to make sure that you are putting enough thought, enough planning in your workout routine, so that you get desired results. And if hypertrophy is if your goal is your goal, then you have to plan certain things according to your body, not according to what is available on in the market, or what is available, what some other trainer is going to tell you. You have to experiment for yourself.
So, what are your concluding thoughts on this topic?
So basically, I think that whatever plan you are choosing, you make sure that you are including. If you're including heavy weights in your plan, then I would suggest you check all the other parameters as well. That will help you enhance your training, your muscle growth. That includes your protein intake. That includes your diet, your supplements, your sleep, your multivitamins. So many things that come with the diet and your sleep. Your basic recovery has to happen. If your recovery is not happening, your plan is not going to give you your desired results, because at the end of the day, muscle growth needs rest. But again, concluding on what our question was, I don't think it is necessary to lift heavier every session. You don't have to lift heavy frequently to stimulate muscle hypertrophy. You can do it, like you don't have to. That's what my answer would be. Okay. So these are my concluding thoughts. Hope you guys liked it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got something out of it today. And I hope that you guys are putting more work into researching and then planning your workout routines, then planning your diet routines, then planning your rest and sleeping routines, so that it all complements your plan, so that it all works out in the best, in your favor, so that you don't get disappointed or you don't get demotivated in between. And then that when you're getting results, it's everything working together. It's not just the way you lift, or it's not just the way you eat. Okay, do you have any have any thoughts on this?
My thoughts on it are, I don't have any concluding thoughts. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and do all that nice stuff. And watch the hell out of this video.